Okay, so Nintendo is known for having the most iconic video game series in gaming, from the Super Mario series to Pokémon, and there are a bunch of Super Mario and Pokémon games on the Switch. Now, Nintendo also have quite a few lesser known series that sadly don't have a single game on the Switch, and so in this video, me and Nintendo Novice will be talking about 5 Nintendo series that need games on the Nintendo Switch. Let's begin. Alright, so in nearly every Mario game, you play as Mario, and your job is to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser. But what if I told you that there was a game on the DS titled Super Princess Peach in which you play as Peach and have to rescue Mario? You wouldn't believe me, would you? Well, Super Princess Peach is a game that does actually exist. Released in 2005 on the DS, the game was liked by most when it was released and would go on to sell 1.7 million copies. The actual gameplay in Super Princess Peach wasn't anything crazy as it was just a 2D platformer, but instead of running around as Mario, you ran around as Peach. Now, I would love to see Nintendo make a Super Princess Peach game for the Switch, as 2D Mario games have gotten really repetitive over the past few entries, and so I think that a Super Princess Peach game would really help spice things up. Also, before anyone tells me in the comments, yes, I know that Super Princess Peach isn't a series, as there is only one Super Princess Peach game, but if there were to be a Super Princess Peach game on the Switch, then it would be a series, and so that's why I'm talking about it, so don't come at my neck in the comments.
What is up, PK's fanbase? It is I, Nintendo Novice, and I like Chibi Robo. Like, a lot. But in all seriousness, most of my favorite Nintendo franchises originated on the GameCube, and Chibi Robo is no exception. Despite the franchise's small Western fanbase, Nintendo never really gave it an opportunity to thrive to begin with. The original game, which many believe to be the best, follows the journey of a tiny robot in charge of taking care of the Sandersons' household. It becomes quickly apparent that this game is much more wacky and deep than initially meets the eye. It's filled with sentient toys, evil robot spiders, and mending the relationships of a family on the verge of divorce. Unfortunately, due to bad PR and the series increasingly drifting away from the original formula, Chibi Robo has never gotten the attention I believe it deserves. In fact, its most recent entry, Chibi Robo Ziplash, absolutely sucked and had practically nothing to do with the original game. Yet Nintendo decided to promote it far more than any other Chibi Robo game prior. It even came bundled with a freaking amiibo! I love this thing, but hate this game! Especially since Nintendo is moving increasingly in the direction of more open-world exploration games such as Breath of the Wild and even more recently Pokemon Legends Arceus, it just makes sense that they would give Chibi Robo another chance being a 3D platformer that would mesh very well into an open-world atmosphere. Unfortunately, with rumors of Chibi Robo's developer Skith going bankrupt, I can't help but be doubtful of its future. At the very least, give us an HD port, Nintendo! I'll actually buy this one, unlike Skyward Sword.
Rhythm Heaven is a series all about clicking buttons to a rhythm. You might think that is boring, but it's not. In the Rhythm Heaven games, you play short, wacky minigames that all have their own theme, unique music, and cool characters that make each minigame so much fun. Seeing as each minigame is only short, and the Rhythm Heaven games are games that you kinda just pick up and play for a few minutes and then put them back down, I think the Nintendo Switch is perfect for a Rhythm Heaven game. Getting a brand new Rhythm Heaven game for the Switch would obviously be awesome, but just getting something like a compilation of every Rhythm Heaven minigame on the Switch would be pretty damn cool as well. So something like Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix for the 3DS, but with every Rhythm Heaven minigame ever. I reckon that the Switch will eventually get a Rhythm Heaven game, seeing as there's been a Rhythm Heaven game on the past few Nintendo systems, and that all of them were generally liked by fans.
Now the second game that I believe needs representation on the Switch is none other than Donkey Kong. Wait, oh, hold up, no. I know what you're thinking. But Novice, we already have Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Switch. Okay, number 1, that's a port. Number 2, that's just Donkey Kong Country. Let me explain. Donkey Kong has many more games outside of the Country series. You've got your Donkey Kong Jr., your Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Donkey Konga, Donkey Kong Land, and so much more. The specific game that I'd like to see a sequel of is none other than Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. This game was amazing on the GameCube. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, allow me to show you these bad boys. Yeah, you played with actual bongos. Yeah, that's right, Donkey Kong. Beat up the gorilla. Beat up the gorilla, buddy. Beat him up. Yes, you got that right. This was a full 2D platformer that only used 2 giant buttons. Now, Nintendo has always been a company that's not afraid to try something new. We had the Zapper and Rob back on the NES, and more recently on the Switch we have things like Nintendo Labo and Ring Fit Adventure. Especially with Nintendo's advances in the realm of motion controls, I feel like they can make a Donkey Kong Jungle Beat 2 really awesome. Think of attaching a pair of Joy-Cons to some bongos, using that HD rumble feature to indicate which bongo to hit at different times, as well as maybe even moving the bongos around instead of just hitting them all the time. I feel like there'd be a lot of possibilities, and you wouldn't even have to just use bongos in this game. I just feel like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat did something extremely unique with using the bongos as essentially 2 giant buttons that you hit to play the whole game, and it actually worked. The game was super fun on the GameCube, and with all that Nintendo's done over the years with their experimentation of different controllers and different playstyles with games, I feel like they can make the Donkey Kong Jungle Beat 2 game even that much better. Punching gorillas and fruit was really fun on the GameCube, and I feel like they can make it even more fun with all the advancements that they have with the Switch. So what I'm really trying to say is, Nintendo, please bring back the bongo controllers. I want to play Smash with 2 pairs of bongos, for crying out loud. Make it happen. You can figure out the button assignments, I don't care. Let me just play Smash with the bongos. I stand corrected. People have already done it.
The 5th and final series that I would like to see Nintendo bring to the Switch is, drumroll please, the Wii Sports series. Now, I know it wouldn't make much sense to have a Wii Sports game on the Switch, as it's a Nintendo Switch, not a Wii or Wii U. But Nintendo could just call the game something along the lines of, I don't know, Switch Sports, and there, the problem is solved. Nintendo could easily just compile all the minigames from Wii Sports Resort and slap a few new minigames into the mix, and boom, Switch Sports. If Nintendo were to market and advertise the game in a way that shows people that it's similar to Wii Sports Resort, the game would sell insanely well and would attract a huge amount of people to the Switch, as everyone, and I mean everyone, loved Wii Sports Resort. Plus, the Switch is kinda missing that game that acts as a tech demo that everyone can have fun with. And yes, I know 1-2-Switch exists, but 1-2-Switch is nothing compared to Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort. The Joy-Cons would make for a much more enjoyable, and I guess you could say accurate experience, seeing as they're better than the Wiimote. And being able to take your Switch anywhere with you and put it in tabletop mode and just hand someone a Joy-Con would be incredible. Imagine being able to take your Switch to your friend's house, slamming the Switch down to the table and just playing some swordplay. It would be so fun. And seeing as the Nintendo Switch has a much better online service than the Wii, you could maybe even verse your friends or even random people online, even though it would probably be a really laggy and frustrating experience. So those are 5 Nintendo series that Nintendo Novice and I want to see on the Switch. But what Nintendo series do you want to see come to the Switch? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and also go check out Nintendo Novice's channel, as he makes some great Nintendo related content. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo content, and thank you for watching.